Welcome back. We just touched upon climate and perhaps environment before going on break. So let's just dig deeper now. The world's most vulnerable coastal communities are facing serious disaster risk these days. And that's exactly what the latest International Conference on Disaster Resilient Infrastructure 2025 is all about.
Why coastal areas? Well, these places aren't just beautiful, they're super important to the global economy. They generate 1.5 trillion a year when it comes to money. They're expected to nearly double that by 2030. Plus, almost 90% of the stuff we buy and sell worldwide gets shipped by the sea. The Prime Minister stressed how urgent it is to act in this moment.
Now, the DRI 2025 is all about turning big talk into real action, and the goal is to make sure coastal communities worldwide are safer, stronger, and ready for whatever the future really throws at them. Our colleague Shrishti brings you this report from France, where the conference is actually underway.
About 37% of the world's population lives within 100 kilometers of the coast. To make matters worse, the population density in all these regions combined is double the international average. And it is these coastal communities which are on the front lines when it comes to the impact of climate change disasters. The world has already warmed by 1 degree Celsius, and this climate change and global warming is making all these natural disasters much more intense, frequent, and their scale has also increased over the years. Not only that, at least 90% of the world's goods are transported by the sea, which brings the attention to the sea and our coastal communities which are battling the impacts of climate change. All these urgent concerns are taking center stage at the 7th edition of the International Conference on a Disaster Resilient Infrastructure 2025, which is happening here in Nice, France. Now, this two-day conference is happening alongside the United Nations Ocean Conference, which is being organized in Nice, France from June 9th to June 13th. Now, the main theme this year is also to advance the sustainable use of our oceans. Here, after the two-day conference, a 10-point agenda was agreed to, which focused on building resilience in these island states.
Put out a 10-point agenda. We've been preparing that with a lot of consultation with experts and states. We've got it here as a draft document. You want the island nations and other participants to reflect on that. And if they all agree, then this 10-point agenda becomes something that we become champions of. And what we're talking about is, building better codes that have factored in aspects of climate change and other disaster risks. Better use of data. We're at a time where we can actually do a lot more with data. So how do we focus on data in a way where we can maybe provide early warning faster? Or we have tools that allow us to process data quickly that can inform the power sector. So we're looking at data. The third part of it is access to finance. How do we facilitate more finance to these projects that that will need to be finance will need to flow decrease.
All right, let's take you now from stories here to stories that are taking place everywhere across the world. First, with the